Rebecca Lindstrom reporting for us. Thank you so much. Well, at this point, we want to welcome in our first group of panelists. If you tune in with us every Sunday on the Georgia Vote, you will recognize them. This is Republican strategist Jen Ryan. She is the founder and CEO of Final Draft Communications and has previously served as the Deputy Chief of Staff for Communications for Governor Nathan Deal, and Democratic strategist Fred Hicks. He is the founder and president of the Hicks Evaluation Group, which has worked with hundreds of political campaigns over nearly 20 years. We saw you all at 6 o'clock. Now we're back. The numbers are rolling in. We're in it, guys.
And this is probably a great time if we can bring our results map back up, because you've been hearing us, and you've been hearing us if you're watching all night long, talking about how these results are going to start rolling in fairly early tonight. Here's an example of it. At 7:06, we talked about how we had our first batch of about 3,000 votes. At 7:12, now we have more than 160,000 votes reporting. Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, out to a very early lead in the state. Only 3% of the estimated total vote is in, but we're starting to see these results come in. When you two look at this map and where it stands very early in the night, what sticks out to you, and what are you watching as the night unfolds? Jen?
I would first say that the reason these votes are coming in so quickly and relatively smoothly is in large part to SB 202 that the late Speaker David Ralston ushered through. So I do think that we have, him to thank for perhaps knowing how Georgia's going to go before midnight. I'm optimistic.
Some mixed feelings on SB 202, Fred.
there were one or two good things in there, and this is one of those two good things. So we appreciate that. No, I think it's important for our viewers to understand that this is most likely the count of the absentee ballots as they're coming in. So because of SB 202, prior to people counties could not open ballots beforehand as they were mailed in, and so it would take counties, like large counties, hours to count them. But now we have this vote in, and this is very interesting. I think there are two things that jump out to me about it. Number one, this is the negative of SB 202. It made voting by mail much more difficult, and so that's why the numbers are much smaller than they were 4 years ago. But we do at least have the numbers, so I guess that's a good thing there.
And we should point out this is still just an early, very slim slice of the advanced voting. We had millions of early votes, right?
Well, yes. We had 4 million votes cast early, but between in person and by mail. And so this is just 1% or 3% or whatever. So no one should get excited. So Democrats, hey, okay, Republicans should not, go into gnashing your teeth. This is going to be a long long night, so to speak, and there are a lot of votes left to count.
And that's actually really important that you pointed that out, because as we do pull up our map, if we can pull it up again here, guys, in the back, you will see that Vice President Harris and former President Donald Trump, they will flip-flop in the lead. Right now it looks like Harris is leading, but throughout the night you are going to see that flip-flop. So we want to make sure you at home realize, if you take a look in the top right corner of your screen, you will see Zach is scrolling right there now.
I'm going to circle it. I'm
going
to emphasize this because this is important.
Yes, you'll see that there's 3% of the estimated total vote coming in. So that number is going to continue to grow. So just something to know at home as you are following along through this long night. I want to ask you all, we've been out, you all have been out speaking to voters, speaking to the candidates. I want to talk about the confidence and the concern. As we know, both of these camps saying, yes, we're confident, we're going to win this. But looking at as strategists yourselves, how much of that concern makes a difference? Like if you're too confident, does that keep people from saying, oh, they're going to win anyway, I'm not going to go vote? That's my question.
I think that the early voting data is very interesting. Republicans have closed the gap with Democrats. The turnout amongst rural voters, I think it's up by 170,000. There's a lot to be excited about, but it is only part of the picture. And so, as Fred said earlier, it's too early for gnashing of teeth or a victory dance because, like I said, it's interesting data, but it's only part of the picture on both sides.
Fred, is cautiously optimistic a better way to phrase this?
Well, I would say thankful for every single vote that you get, right? Whether it comes in by mail or in person. But this is, again, there are a lot of votes outstanding, and we look at this map, we really don't see anything from the major metropolitan areas or even the major rural areas that are strong for Donald Trump. So, again, this is just part of a total, so we don't want anyone to overreact right now. We know that there's still, as we talked about in the lead-up, there's still some precincts in the counties that are staying open a little bit later due to these fake bomb threats. So, just keep refreshing and stay tuned in to Channel 11.
And Fred, I want to chime in here and interrupt, please forgive me, but we have some new race calls to report here, and I'm going to take us out to the electoral map, and you see here that NBC now projects Vice President Kamala Harris will carry Vermont, and NBC is projecting that former President Donald Trump is going to carry Kentucky and Indiana. I've got to imagine, Jen and Fred, you don't see any of those as a particular shocker out the gate here. Those are pretty predictable Democratic and Republican, respectively, leaning states, but maybe a sign that we're seeing results. It is crunch time now. We're going to start getting maybe some illumination about what to expect throughout the night.
And I have seen flagged Hamilton County as sort of a bellwether.
Hamilton County in
Indiana. It's something to watch just for national trends.
And as we zoom back now, because if you're watching, we know that you want to see the results, and we want to keep you with the most up-to-date data that we can. So let's take a drive back to the state of Georgia here. Look at us zooming in. More results have come in, just a few, about 20,000. We're at about 180,000 votes reported around the state right now. But that number is ticking up and up and up in real time. Fred and Jen, Fred, let's start with you. You were talking about some of the counties you're watching in particular. Is anything on the map here going to be an early bellwether for you that's reporting at all yet? And Jen, you can jump in on this as well. I want both of your perspectives.
Well, looking at the map right now, the area around Augusta, so in that Chatham, not Chatham, Richmond, Columbia County area.
Let's zoom in here and let's see what we can get over in this area here.
Yeah.
Columbia County not reporting, but we see McDuffie County, about 7,700 votes reporting. Former President Trump out to we should emphasize, you're going to hear me say this a lot, out to a really early, really early lead there.
Right, and then just south of Augusta there, we have Glasscock.
Is the challenge for both of these campaigns, is it persuasion or is it turnout as you get into the last couple weeks?
Yeah.
Turnout.
Boy, you two didn't hesitate at all, did you?
It's getting people out of their homes and actually getting out there and voting.
That's right. And it's flushing these voters out, making sure that they are either going to the polls or they're going to bring their absentee ballot back in. It's absolutely turnout.
Absolutely turnout. Not just voting themselves, but making sure they bring a few friends with them to make.
And you mentioned something, Fred, before we came on the air. You were really excited about one particular numbers rolling in. Can you talk to us about that?
Well, so it looks like there's an adjustment, but one of the counties that we talked about in the lead or the tease is that both Jen and I agree that we're looking at right now is Clayton County.
Right.
And so Clayton County underperformed, so to speak, relative to the other metropolitan counties during the early voting period. And right now, we got some numbers. It looks like they're actually about 58% there. But what's also very interesting, the other county I forgot to mention earlier is Henry County. And Henry County is a little bit over 70%. And that is huge because Henry County flipped in 2016.
When you say 70% and 50%, tell me what you're looking at in particular, because we want to be clear so far, no votes have been tabulated and reported here. So you're talking about
the turnout, number of people who voted.
Number of people who voted early.
Well, total now. So Henry County, this was as of about 6:30, according to my source there. That
you got internal sources. This is why we get the best folks here on 11 Live and on the Jordan. This is why you keep coming back.
Yes.
So your source is telling you.
But Henry County has about 200,000 registered voters, and they were a little bit over 70%. And this is important for our viewers to understand because in 2020, Henry County flipped. For a long time, it was a Republican stronghold, and everything in Henry County flipped. And so if you're talking about a place where you're looking for votes, then Henry County is it if you're a Democrat. As a matter of fact, Henry County in 2020 had the largest increase in Democratic performance in the entire country from 2016 to 2020. And so as that performance continues to increase, that is a great sign for Kamala Harris. Now, we're looking for Fayette County. That hasn't come in yet. But if you look at the Southern Crescent, the three main counties that make up the Southern Crescent are Fayette, Clayton, and Henry. Right, and so Clayton and Henry are faithful Democratic counties. Fayette, well, we're trying to see what happens with that, Jen.
And Jen, last word to you, and then we're going to kick it out to one of our reporters out in the field. But we want to make sure we hear you weigh in on this too.
Well, I like to look at down ballot as well? Are there local referendums? Like Gwinnett has a transit referendum.
Right.
Is that going to
That you have reported on, Faith.
Yeah.
sway the vote
Gwinnett
either
and
way?
Cobb, I believe they have both of the transit referendums.
And there are some legislative races, you mentioned this earlier in North Fulton, where the Republicans historically have outperformed the top of the ticket. It's a different set of issues a lot of them are running on. So I think the turnout is obviously driven, in a presidential election by the top of the ticket, but you can't discount what's, lower down on your ballot.
And it seems like people are really excited this year. I mean, you're talking about record early voting turnout, over 4 million. The Secretary of State's office predicting there could be up to 1.2 million people coming out. So what is that, over 5.2, 5.3 in total? So clearly, people are interested.
Right.
So that's good.